We are live streaming episode 6 on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you to all of those who are going to join us throughout this broadcast. We will be live streaming and taking your comments and questions if you have any. So here we go. My name is Not So Black Josh.
I'm Not So Black Steve.
And this is the Not So Black Podcast. So there it is, guys. Thank you so much. Alright, so we are going to start off the week as we always do with some news from Interrobang. That's where we like to start off at. So let's check out some comedy news because that is our number one priority on this podcast is comedy. Everybody on Facebook will be with you in a moment. We should be live as well there. Yep. Nope, that's the wrong one. So let me refresh this and we should be good. So here is the Not So Black Podcast. Let's full screen this. Oh shit. 2 full screen. Good job, Twitter. It's 2 full screen, but we can see it. We have 3 viewers. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. Leave us a comment. If you have anything you want to say, give us some love, show us some hearts. We are going to jump right into comedy news from Interrobang. We got some news from Reggie Watts. Reggie Watts does it again. The comedy and tech pioneer is airing the first ever live stream improvised sitcom Thursday night.
That's awesome.
An improvised sitcom.
That's so nice.
That's ridiculous. Do you remember that Spatial? That last special on Netflix?
Yeah.
Remember when they did that like improvised? It was like
was
the Raven's Nest or Crow's Nest.
Yeah, the Crow's Nest.
The Crow's Nest. It was hilarious. It was part of his special, and the actors he uses, it's Sarah something, but she's part of that new show he has on Comedy Central. It's pretty funny. Please excuse the sound for audio listeners, and please excuse the look. That's a disgusting cup. But I got some sheets today, and I wanted some sweet tea. I make really good sweet tea, so suck on that. Let's see. Go to our live Facebook, and we're just going to check in with our Facebook fucks real quick. Cool. We are checked in with you, Facebook fucks. We are on you, Twitter twats. So everything is A-OK. Alright, so Reggie Watts, the first ever live streamed improvised sitcom Thursday night. A sitcom, it's going to be Crow's Nest too.
Awesome.
That's awesome. It's Crow's Nest, spelled C-R-O-W-E-S. The article on Interrobang reads, Reggie Watts has long been known for pushing boundaries, combining creativity and comedy, and blending his ideas with technology that others in the business aren't even testing yet. The results are always interesting, smart, and hilarious. This Thursday, May 24th, oh, we missed it. It was this Thursday. So 2 days ago, Reggie Watts aired it. Live streamed, fully improvised. I can't believe we missed that. Damn it. Why is this article up for today? Well, maybe they didn't.
What's it showing on?
Let's see. Spatially interested. It doesn't say. 100% show will be first of its kind live streaming domain. No script, no dialogue. Let's see. 30-minute episode. It doesn't even. I'm looking for a spot where it says Butcher Bird. Because Facebook. Oh, I think it's on Facebook. Huh, so yeah, Facebook. It's live streamed on Facebook. Hopefully it's every week. That's awesome. So yeah, there's a 15-minute pre-show and a 15-minute post-show to make sure the liveness of the show doesn't get lost. Reggie says, what we have found with these live events is just like the Macy's Day Parade or the Super Bowl, these big, gigantic global audience events, you do a pre-show because you're never spot on at 9 o'clock and 0 seconds ready to go. That makes sense. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully we can find the episode on Facebook. If you guys are a fan of Reggie Watts, go on Facebook or search The Crow's Nest, CROWESNEST, for his live stream improvised sitcom. Or if you haven't seen his special Spatial on Netflix, SPATIAL, it's really funny. It definitely pushes the boundaries. It's something we haven't seen before. But he always uses music, comedy, and just like, he's really smart. He's a brilliant guy. The way he combines technology, knowledge, and everything to give himself an edge, sort of. It's pretty interesting. All right, guys. So let's go back to Interrobang before we get into our next topic. It's a little bit of a sore issue. Yeah, the next issue is a little sore, but it's fine. Let's see. Wins the Julia Louis-Dreyfus won the Mark Twain Prize. That's cool. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, she was in Veep, that show on HBO. That was really good. I enjoyed that. Doug Stanhope has an article on Interrobang. Back in 2012, Doug Stanhope made the papers when he impersonated Johnny Rotten in a radio interview. He got away with it for the full interview, apparently, which is hilarious. Amy Schumer joins Vanessa Bayer on the Ibiza red carpet. Who cares about Amy Schumer? I've honestly lost a lot of interest in her. Like, she's funny, but it's just not something I've been, I don't know. And then, thanks to The Daily Show, Trump tweets will be immortalized in a book. They're going to take his tweets and immortalize them into a book, so that's pretty fucking awesome.
That is awesome.
The Daily Show with Trevor Noah presents the Donald J. Trump Presidential Twitter Library. Oh man, you can buy it too, I'm hoping. Yep, I'm pretty sure they're going to have the Daily Show library will also include a foreword by Pulitzer Prize winning historian John Meacham. Are you alright, Steve? Okay. Full color photography from its previous pop-up exhibitions, and even a place for readers to add their own future Trump tweet highlights. That's hilarious. That's pretty good. So yeah, that's the news this week from Interrobang. Pretty sure that's it. We usually just like to call a couple articles off their front page, just because I'm a huge fan of Interrobang. I believe in what they do. They cover comedy really well. They also cover news and entertainment really well. I'm just a big fan of these guys, so I'm always going to get my comedy and entertainment news from them. So next up for discussion is going to be my first hemorrhoid. I got my first hemorrhoid. I've never had one. I didn't know what they were about. I've heard about them. My dad got hemorrhoids so bad once he had to have surgery. So that's fucking hilarious. He had them real bad. And so I got my first one. I was pooping, and I went to wipe, and I noticed that it was painful. So I cleaned up, and I went to town, putting my fingers on my starfish and finding out what it was. And it was an irritated red bump.
Steve, can you bring me some gloves?
I did. I yelled for Steve to bring me some gloves because we went to the store, and I don't know if you guys know this, but Preparation H is very expensive. It's very expensive. And it was like, what, $12 for a little tube of it? And then I go to the dollar aisle at Shop and Save, and they have the same stuff, but it's called hemorrhoidal ointment. So I bought some hemorrhoidal ointment, and I put some gloves on. I put a little dab will do you. And there you go. I put some ointment on my hemorrhoid, and it hasn't been irritating me. I think it's going to go away. I'm going to put ointment on it again tonight. And it's not a pleasant experience. If any of you have ever struggled with hemorrhoids, please let us know. Write into us at notsbpodcast@gmail.com. Tell us your hemorrhoid stories. We would love to share them with our viewers and listeners. It would be just really cool to talk about those kind of things, because it's important that I think hemorrhoid awareness is important.
What I'm still stuck on is I'm pretty sure you're supposed to push it back up in there.
It doesn't make any sense to me. because it doesn't come out of you. It's just an ear. It's just a bump.
It's not like hanging out of there.
No, it doesn't come from outside. You're thinking of a fucking hernia. A hernia is the thing that comes out, like they come out your belly button. You can get them out of your asshole, prolapses and shit. Hernias come out. A hemorrhoid is like a cyst. It's not a cyst. It's like a red bump that forms on your asshole, and it could have been the food I was eating. It could have been the straining from working 2 jobs, whatever it was. It was something. Apparently, I was doing something wrong. I got a hemorrhoid, and it was painful to wipe. And then I ran out of wet wipes because you got to use wet wipes. I ran out for like 2 days, so I'm fucking wiping my ass with dry toilet paper, and it's hurting every time.
Rubbing it raw.
And so finally, I just broke. I got some hemorrhoid cream. I'm happy I did because it was soothing relief that I needed. So shout out to generic hemorrhoidal ointment for saving my booty hole.
That stink off that cream.
Oh yeah. So every time I fart, Steve does this thing where he goes, he kind of wafts in it, and every time he does that, I pray to God it stinks, and it never does. And finally last night, he fucking did it.
I got it down to a science. Like, I get the smell almost there.
Something in my fucking mouth. Sorry, folks, I had to get something out of my mouth. Yeah, but last night it was bad. That hemorrhoidal cream definitely woke something up in me. That hemorrhoid fucking popped. And I did it today in the car, too. It's pretty great. Farts are one of my favorite things in the whole world. We're going to talk about poop and farts later. But first, sports. The Not So Black podcast sports segment. I don't know why. We're going to talk about this thing. I know you guys keep hearing a little bit of music. We're going to talk about this thing after we get through some sports. So ESPN, hopefully one day they'll sponsor us. I doubt it, but ESPN's pretty awesome. Did you see they signed a new deal with UFC, a $1.5 billion deal?
No.
Yeah, they signed a deal for the rights to air UFC fights. And I have the ESPN app. If you don't have the ESPN app, I highly recommend it. It's a really good app. You will you'll get a lot out of it, that's for sure. I believe so. I mean, I just think it's a smart app. I get a lot of use from it, I guess you would say. Yeah, I'd say I would. Sorry guys, we're just kind of doing some computer stuff real quick. Alright, sorry for the radio silence. Once again, we are back with the Not So Black sports segment. Not So Black sports from ESPN. So yeah, ESPN and UFC signed a $1.5 billion deal, which is pretty impressive. I think ESPN has kind of been backsliding as far as television. They've had to fire people. They've had to rearrange some things because of the internet. And because people consume their sports information mostly online now. I worked for a sports information company, and it was all about online. It was all about curating information, and just like their app is amazing. So from there, I do have to talk about this next subject because I am a wrestling fan. WWE signed a principal deal, so it's not in effect yet. This wouldn't go into effect until it's like a year and a half from now, until 2019, like May of 2019, something like that, or no, like October 2019. This deal would go into effect, but WWE is moving SmackDown, their second show, over to Fox Network, Fox Sports. So that's pretty different, I guess. It could. They're saying it could change a lot of things. We're not really sure. We've seen Daniel Bryan come back. They have Shinsuke Nakamura. They have AJ Styles. They have a lot of good talent over there. But would it mean a definitive brand split and 2 different shows entirely? Because the brands are split right now. So would they have a brand split definitively, and just it would look like two different, products of two different networks, or is Fox going to want all the stars?
Right.
So I don't know. I think it has a lot to do with Vince McMahon getting the XFL started soon. That's going to be cool. The Extreme Football League. He's going to do that again. He's going to try it again. And I think it's a good idea because the NFL has made a lot of mistakes. They banned kneeling now. Your whole team will be penalized and fined if a player kneels during the national anthem. So that's your First Amendment right. People died for that First Amendment right. People keep trying to say it's disrespectful to the flag, to the troops, to the song, but it's not. They're not doing it to disrespect any of those things. They're doing it as a form of peaceful protest because they have issues they want to get out. That's it. If it'd be one thing if they were going out there saying, "Yeah, fuck America, I'm going to kneel," but they're not. They're saying, "Hey, we have issues in our community. We're giving our money and our time to these issues because all of these players who have kneeled have donated millions of dollars to their communities and to the issues they care about. And, they're kneeling to bring attention to it. And it has done a good job of bringing attention to it at least. So that's something. But yeah, Fox and WWE are going to be working together on this deal. It has a total value. It's a 5-year deal with a total value of more than $1 billion. Yeah, that's a lot of fucking money. Vince McMahon is already a billionaire, so we'll see what happens with that. Next on the sports news agenda, I wanted to talk about the Nick Diaz UFC fan, and Nick Diaz got a felony charge for domestic battery. It's not good because he's a great fighter with a promising career. Obviously, he's one of the most talented fighters in the UFC, but one of the most underrated. He doesn't get enough credit, doesn't get enough big fights. Has a lot to do with his drug charges or his drug use. He still smokes weed all the time, and he doesn't want to pass tests. He doesn't want to do a lot of things. His brother Nate Diaz, the one who fought Conor, is a beast. Nick Diaz I think he's actually better than Nate, but he's obviously had a lot more demons in his life, and he hasn't had. He just hasn't had he just hasn't had the time in the spotlight like he needs. So, I don't know, just what it is. Says welterweight Nick Diaz has been arrested and charged with domestic battery and felony domestic battery by strangulation. An individual identified as Nicholas R. Diaz was detained in Clark County Detention Center on Friday in Las Vegas, according to online records. The Las Vegas Police Department has not confirmed it is the UFC star, but the individual is from Stockton, California, Diaz's hometown. I mean, it could be him. They're not saying if it is or not. They're pretty sure it is. UFC is aware of the recent arrest of middleweight athlete Nick Diaz, and the organization does not tolerate domestic violence. Look what happened with Chris Cyborg, or no, not Chris Cyborg. There's a guy named Cyborg, and his girlfriend was that porn star, Christy Mack. Beat the fucking piss out of him, went to prison. And he lost it all. So I don't know what's going on with this. Diaz hasn't fought since January of 2015 because he missed multiple drug tests. And he was reinstated as an eligible fighter last month. They were just talking about this. He was finally going to come back since then. It's been over 3 years. And now this. So that's sad. That's a sad thing for the state of things. I'm not too excited about it because I don't know, man. I'm just a huge fan of fighting. I'm a huge fan of. Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I don't really know what to say about it. I wonder if his brother's going to say anything about it. So that's all we have for sports news. Next, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I did. I went out and got. I got myself a brand new MIDI controller, and I am so fucking excited about this thing. It is so badass.
Really cool choice.
It's got an old school Rhodes. It's got a bunch of different stuff on it, but I have to say I'm a big fan of the pianos. The grand piano, the old school Rhodes piano. It has a few different kinds, but yeah, it's called the Arturia Mini Lab MK2. This is the limited edition in black, and it's definitely worth the $87 I paid for it. It was $87 because the box was open for Musician's Friend. So I'm happy with it. I actually made some songs. I've done a little bit of dubstep because that's what these things are made for, I guess. And I did a jazz song. I did some classical piano, some stuff like that. Not much more than that. I've been just kind of messing around with some things. Nothing too special, recording here and there. But we are going to work on a theme song and an intro song for the podcast, so that should be fun. Let's see. Next, after I talked about the MIDI and just kind of showed it off because that's what I wanted to do. How do I say this? We saw a fraternity video. I'm sure you guys saw it. It was on CNN. And this fraternity had a super racist oath. Like, you know when you pledge to the fraternity and then you have to say the oath before they let you in? Well, apparently these kids had a super, Theta Tau frat members at Syracuse removed from classes. And it's a news video, and it shows them, I mean, they're saying, I promise to hold hatred in my heart for all Jews, N-words, and Hispanics. But they say sticks. Yeah, it's real ridiculous. Here's the video. So if you guys get a chance, just search CNN frat or CNN Syracuse frat. Yeah, these kids are ridiculous. You can hear them just, pretty much saying offensive, like super fucked up stuff. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So the University of Syracuse permanently have removed these guys from the college. They miming people with sexual disabilities and regular disabilities. They just, Jesus. I mean, these kids are they're just white boys. Here it is. N-words. Yeah, the videos were made public by the student newspaper, the Daily Orange, and students held a protest. Of course they did. They probably didn't have to protest because they would have been removed either way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it was, I get it was probably necessary to protest because it was messed up, but like, it probably wasn't necessary because the kids were going to get kicked out anyway. They were gone, no matter what. So yeah, that happened. That's crazy. Syracuse is in New York, right? Or was it somewhere else? Syracuse, New York. I don't know. It doesn't say Syracuse University. I think that's New York. Or Tennessee or some shit. Syracuse. No, it's New York. Yeah. These kids sound country. I'm just a bunch of white elitist asshole douchebags that are in their 19, 20 years old, spouting off stupid shit, and they shouldn't do that. But they knew what they were doing. They probably knew it was going to be public. They knew it was probably being filmed. Me and Steve say offensive shit to each other all the time behind closed doors because that's our constitutional right. But we're not going to go around making videos making fun of a whole bunch of people unless we explicitly say, hey, this is, we're about to make fun of you. Right. Like if I'm about to make fun of mentally handicapped people, I'm going to tell you before I do it so that way you can be prepared or not listen to it. Because that's the thing. You have a First Amendment right to say whatever you want. Yeah. I don't think you should ever stop somebody from saying fucked up things. You shouldn't shout them down. You should let them say it so they're exposed. So the frat boys are pretty ridiculous. But this next guy is probably a little worse. This 30-year-old man, okay? 30-year-old. Went to court with his parents because they tried evicting him and he was fighting it. So his parents went to the court and they got him evicted. They got him removed. And he was on the news talking about it. It was pretty funny. This guy seems like somewhat of a loser. He told the news, like, now, I do want to leave home. His name is Michael Rotondo, 30-year-old, this is from CBS, 30-year-old man evicted from his parents' house. I don't want to live there anymore, is what he said, but it's a case that pitted a mom and dad against their own son. The couple wanted the 30-year-old to move out of their home in upstate New York. Despite eviction notices and offers of cash, he wouldn't budge. So now a court ruling is forcing him out, and he's complaining about his parents. He said, I don't want to live there anymore. But that hasn't spurred him to find a new place to live, even though his parents wanted him to move out and on with his own life. I mean, he's 30 years old at this time. I don't have the means to do it tomorrow, he said. But here's this dude on the news. I think this is him. If so, it's pretty fucking hilarious.
It's a lot older than 30.
And he has, look at him. He's 30 years old. He's got long hair and a big old beard. Probably zero prospects, no job. These are the kind of dudes that piss me off, you know, because they're doing nothing with their fucking lives. Not even making an attempt. And he's bitching because his parents are evicting him. And they tried to turn it on them, you know. He's been living with his parents for 8 years. So he moved back when he was 22.
30-year-old Michael Rotundo has caught the attention of households around the country as a headstrong squatter in his parents' suburban Syracuse home.
Squatter.
It's very awkward. Parents Mark and Christina Rotundo told a judge that they've been trying to evict their unemployed son for 8 years, writing him 5 notices since February, even gifting Michael $1,100 to pay rent to anyone else. In an interview today, Michael says he wants to move out but believes he's owed a 6-month notice.
I would consider much of what they were doing to try to get me out as a tax. I'll leave. I don't like living here. But I need reasonable time.
But the judge ultimately sided with the parents.
You goddamn right he did.
Michael blames an ongoing custody battle over his own son.
You got more than 30 days notice.
He's a college
That's
graduate.
plenty.
I went for engineering, and when I couldn't do the math, I switched to business.
But he couldn't keep a job.
Business graduate.
Started with just like, why do I need to pay for haircuts?
Psychologists say he isn't alone.
For the first time in history, a Pew study found that there are more kids coming to live at home with their parents at some point in the mid-20s. Maybe they need to push them out no matter what.
I had plans to be able to provide myself with the income I need to support myself, but it's...
So his plan is to find a job and support himself. Wow. I can't believe he's going to do something so controversial. That's funny. Speaking of controversial, this next one's pretty ridiculous. So, from a 30-year-old who was evicted by his own parents because he's a piece of shit, to a lady who pooped at a Tim Hortons. I'm sure you guys saw that this week, but it was fucking hilarious. Apparently, this lady went in there, and apparently the Tim Hortons that she goes to, they have complaints about her, right? Like she's a regular there. Right, so she goes there, she has to use the restroom. Now, Tim Hortons' restroom policy is anyone can use our restrooms. You don't have to be a customer to use it.
Right.
But certain franchises have the right to have keys, or they can buzz them into the bath. They can do that. They're allowed to do that. Well, this lady gets so angry that the guy behind the counter will not let her use the restroom. She straight backs up. There's this wall behind her, like a half-wall counter. She backs up, pulls her pants down, leans against the wall, drops a giant shit. I'm talking, Steve, this shit was like the size of like my shit. It was a huge turd, but she did it so fast. I don't know how she did it. She must have had to really poop bad.
She had to go.
She had to go, and she went right on the floor. She grabbed some napkins, picked up the fucking turd, and threw it at the guy. Yes. And then grabbed some more napkins and stormed out. Yes. How crazy do you have to be?
Pretty awesome, I'd say.
That's fucking insane, dude. No, you don't throw. I could understand maybe shitting on the floor, but throwing it afterwards.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's a whole nother level, dude. That's a whole nother level of. So it's a Canadian. It was in Canada, and they're nice people. So to be Canadian and do something like that, that's insane. But yeah, she backs up against the divider between the counter and seating area before relieving herself, then disgustingly scooping up her feces and flinging it at the stunned employee who was on the phone. Before fleeing, she wipes her behind and she threw the tissue the napkin she wiped her butt with at the guy too. Oh man. Officers from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police collared the crazed crapper in the parking lot.
Crazy.
Thank you, New York Post, for writing that sentence. Here's the video. If you guys haven't seen this, please look up Lady Poops in Tim Hortons. For our audio listeners, please look up Lady Poops in Tim Hortons. Steve, you haven't seen this shit, have you?
No.
So she has a fucking sweatshirt tied around her waist. She takes it off and pulls down her pants, and boom, just huge crap. Like, just leans against the divider, craps, picks it up, throws it at the dude, wipes her hands in her ass, throws those, and then just fucking takes off.
That is so awesome.
That's ridiculous. Is there nowhere else you could use the bathroom?
She had to go.
And go in a bag in your car.
So fast.
It was really fast. Oh, shit. I apologize for that, guys. The next video came up. Apparently some guy, some scaffolding collapsed in the Philippines, which makes sense because it's the Philippines. And that happened. So let's just kind of move on from that. Steve, you remember the first time you were racially profiled in this town?
Not specifically the first time, no.
We'll talk about it. Talk about the first time you can remember being racially profiled.
I think middle school is when it started to get, especially like during sports and stuff, I think is when it started to notice.
What do you mean?
When like nobody wanted me to wrestle, they all wanted me to play basketball because they just assumed that I would be very good at basketball. All I wanted to do was wrestle. It's like, yeah.
So because you were black, they wanted you to play basketball. And because you're black, they didn't want you to wrestle. And now you're not so black, Steve. Hey, podcast watchers and listeners, Steve has a haircut.
Yeah.
Tell everybody, everybody who watches this, please tell them it looks good, because it does. It does look very good. I think it looks very good. I'm happy with it. Everybody that's over the age of 50 is really happy with it too, apparently.
Yeah, apparently they all are.
So that's awesome. Yeah, she said 12:15, right? Alright. Got about 5-10 minutes left, guys, so we are, oh geez. Sometimes we just don't know what we're doing when it comes to sound, you know? So I apologize for overlapping voices, but, when you're young and impressionable, you're so wild and free. But when you're older, you just want to be young again. And when you're racially profiled as a young black man who looks a Mexican, fighting people cause they say the N-word, pushing them from behind. Steve does mean things to white people. I remember the first time I was racially profiled. I was in class and somebody called me a spick. So I got up and I tried to punch him in the face. But you don't punch someone in the face who calls you a spick. You just don't punch people. I was the kid who always punched people. I punched Steve, I punched Matt, I punched my best friend Jason when we were 12. Cause he rolled his eyes at me. And I don't know, but one time, shortly after I moved here, I was walking downtown with a group of my friends. We were all wearing nice shoes and the police stopped us because we were more than 5 and that's considered a gang. And they said, how do you afford those shoes? How do you afford those nice shoes? We know they're $100. And I said, bitch, we're 15, 16 years old. Our parents bought them. I'm sorry I fucked up that note. Yeah, that's the story of being racially profiled. So that's all there is. Yes, that's all there is of the night. So Black Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. We hope that the smooth sounds of the Not So Black podcast will carry you all the way through this Memorial Day weekend. Everybody out there partying, please be safe, have fun, drink responsibly, and make sure that you stay good. Be a good person. It's Memorial Day weekend. Be nice to each other. Have fun. Be responsible. But most of all, just be good. I guess that's all I have to say. Goodbye, motherfuckers. That's the end of this. Getting up now and I'm gonna turn off the live stream.
Don't you dare drink and drive.
There it is. Steve, Facebook is still going. Will you go ahead and fucking turn off the Facebook live stream? Goodbye, Facebook. Thank you so much.